Good morning everyone, we're going to continue looking at prophethood or Risala, looking today specifically at the Prophet Isa. Essentially, a prophet is a human that has been chosen by God to receive and spread his message. Prophets are often sent to try and correct the behaviour of society, and these people are called to a vocation of prophethood, which in Islam is referred to as Risala. The wisdom these people has been given by God. Each prophet, though, has the same fundamental message, that there is only one God, and that individuals will be judged by that God in the afterlife. The Quran makes it clear that these individuals have only come by Allah's permission. It says, and it was not for a messenger to come with a sign except by permission of God. Islam teaches that there are 25 prophets identified in the Quran that date back from the creation of the world with Adam. Many of these prophets are shared with other monotheistic religions such as Christianity and Judaism, although they may have slightly different names and associated beliefs. According to Islam, the problem with the teachings of these previous prophets is that over time their message has either been lost or corrupted. And this is why Allah needed to send one final prophet to give the perfect revelation in the Quran. Muslims believe that throughout every nation and time period, Allah has sent a prophet so that everyone has an opportunity to hear his message. In the Quran it says, and for every nation is a messenger. Luckily for you, in this exam you don't need to know about all 25 prophets, but you need to know about 4. Adam, Ibrahim, Isa, also known as Jesus in Christianity, and the final prophet, Prophet Muhammad. Isa is the Islamic name for Jesus. In Islam, Isa is not seen as the Son of God or God incarnate, but he is simply another prophet. He's recognized as the successor to Moses, but he's also the last prophet before Muhammad. Isa is believed to have had a miraculous birth. He didn't have a father, and his mother was a virgin when she became pregnant. But he is also said to have performed miracles himself, such as healing the sick and predicting the future of Prophet Muhammad. Like the other prophets before him, Isa's role was to spread Allah's word to the people, and to tell them that there was only one God, that they need to worship that one God, and that they will be judged in the afterlife. In the account of Isa's life in the Quran, it says that he told the public, I cure the blind from birth and the leper, and I give life to the dead by permission of God. And I have come to you with a sign from your Lord, so fear God and obey me. Indeed, God is my Lord and your Lord, so worship him. That is the straight path. However, like many of the prophets before him, Isa's teachings were rejected by some, and they didn't want to follow his teachings. And this led to him being rejected very physically by the people. In the Quran it says, but is it not that every time a messenger comes to you with what your souls do not desire, you are arrogant, and a party of messengers you denied, and another party you killed? Whilst in Christianity Jesus died on the cross, Islam don't follow the same account. The story of Isa never really ends in the Quran, as we're told that Jesus was not killed, but somebody was put in his place to make it look like he was killed. The Quran teaches that although it appeared that Jesus died on the cross, in fact it was another that was made to resemble him through his crucifixion. He actually didn't die. The reason for this is that Allah couldn't allow evil men to conquer a prophet. Instead, Muslims claim that Isa was taken up to Allah and will reappear in the second coming when Allah will judge the world. So the figure that died on the cross was simply a person that resembled Isa. It wasn't Isa himself. In the Quran it says, and they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but another was made to resemble him to them. And they did not kill him for certain, rather God raised him to himself. So are the lives of prophets the most useful guide for Muslims today? Many Muslims may agree that prophets are a good source of wisdom and guidance because they come from Allah and arguably meet the needs of the audience at the time. The Quran says, and it was not for a messenger to come with a sign except by permission of God, and that for every nation is a messenger. As such, these individuals have been sent by Allah to give specific messages that are designed for the people of different nations at different time periods. In addition, many Muslims in contemporary society might argue that prophets, particularly Prophet Muhammad, are the best source of guidance because they provide relatable examples. As Yusuf Islam said, if we imitate the conduct of the Holy Prophet, we will be successful. Prophet Muhammad also said, I leave behind you 2 things, the Quran and the example of my life. If you follow these, you will not fail. So as humans, the prophets provide relatable examples that have gone through the same experiences that we may go through in our own lives. Finally then, many Muslims might argue that the prophets are the best source of wisdom and guidance because they reflect important values of Islam, but in practice. For example, Muslims can look at the lives of prophets and learn about important values like submission and forgiveness from Adam, or monotheism, submission and overcoming temptations from the life of Prophet Ibrahim. Whereas the Quran teaches these values, it's arguably much easier to understand them when they're demonstrated in real-life examples. On the other hand, though, many traditional Muslims might argue that the Quran is the ultimate source of wisdom and guidance, as it's the perfect, uncorrupted word of Allah that was given in order to clarify the errors in previous sacred texts. In the Quran it says, "We have sent down to you book as clarification for all things and as guidance and mercy and good tidings for the Muslims." When the Quran was completed, Allah claimed it perfected Islam. As such, the Quran is the absolute fixed word of Allah and is the ultimate source of wisdom and guidance. Many might argue that Sharia law is the most important guide for Muslims today, as it helps structure and order the Muslim community to ensure that people continue to follow Allah's word, hence why its name means straight path. In 2018, the government conducted a review of the application of Sharia law in England and Wales. In this, it was argued that the use of Sharia law shouldn't be banned, saying Sharia councils are fulfilling a need in some Muslim councils and communities. As such, Muslims could argue that this legal code and the associated councils helps Muslims practice day to day. Finally then, many Muslims might disagree and argue that within a Western society, contemporary Islamic leaders might be a better guide because they're trained and can offer insight into how to apply scripture to today's real-life issues that we experience. This might be more useful than when trying to practice Islam in places like Wales, where Islam is not the dominant religion. In the Quran, it talks about those religious leaders and says, "And to those whom we have appointed are the people who guide with the truth and thereby do justice." In addition, modern figures like the singer Yusuf Islam and model Halima Aden can provide modern examples of practicing Islam in the context of contemporary society. They use modern methods like modelling or music to spread Allah's message. These are arguably more useful because their lives and experiences are more relatable than the lives of prophets that lived thousands of years ago. Hope you found that useful. If you want to test yourself on what you've learned about Prophet Isa, then get yourself on Quizlet or Kahoot. If not, have a go at the practice exam questions on the following slide. Good luck.